Queen Elizabeth was ready for her close-up when a nervous photographer, known for mingling with the stars, walked into Buckingham Palace. It was 2002 and Rankin, whose full name is John Rankin Waddell, was one of 10 photographers chosen to photograph the reigning monarch for her Golden Jubilee that year. The Scottish-born photographer and co-founder of the magazine Dazed Plus Confused had collaborated with some of the biggest names in Hollywood and fashion, but nothing could prepare him for her. "I was probably more nervous than I've ever been in my life," he admitted to Fox News Digital. "I think the only other person who ever made me quite nervous was Madonna. But I was also super excited because as head of state, she has been a part of my life since I was born. If you were brought up in the UK, she becomes like an extended member of your family. It was an absolute honor," he continued. "I've always been in awe of her as a human because she had made so many sacrifices in her life. And even though I grew up with her, I didn't know very much about her. So, it was fascinating to have a brief moment where I could see who she really was as a person. But this was also the most famous woman in the world. So there was, of course, a lot of pressure to get it right. And I wasn't scared of taking her photo. I just want." Queen Elizabeth sports post-Platinum Jubilee haircut, goes without cane at Windsor Castle. Rankin, a nervous wreck, arrived at Buckingham Palace wearing a suit and carrying his equipment. With bated breath, he waited for the Queen, now 96, in a room with about 3 palace aides. He suddenly heard a persistent tap from a seemingly never-ending corridor. There was Elizabeth, walking alongside a towering footman who was at least 6 feet 2 inches. Here I was, wondering how I should greet her. I had done so much research before. But here she was just joking and laughing with her footman as they were walking toward me, he explained. I just thought, oh my God, she's got this great sense of humor. And when she walked in, there was this wave of power that took over me. And it's interesting because she's not a tall person at all. But she walked in with this incredible power that takes over a room. It's almost as if it's washing over you, this feeling. But seeing her walk in with laughter also put me at ease. In my research, I read she had this wicked, very cheeky sense of humor. And it clearly showed. According to the 56-year-old, Elizabeth happily chatted with Rankin and even made several jokes during their brief conversation. But Rankin, who was, I do remember her being funny and engaging, he said. I hadn't realized how funny she would be. The photo shoot, which took place in the ballroom, went smoothly, at first. But suddenly, a piece of Rankin's camera fell to the ground during their session. It was a part of my camera that made the flash work, said Rankin. She just laughed. It broke this kind of spell that was going on. She humanized in front of me. I wanted to capture that feeling with my camera. Once I saw that laugh, I thought, that's it. I'm gonna get her smiling. When my assistant eventually got that piece back in, I said, Mom, could you just smile, please? I got one where she gave this really massive smile. And in the end, I got this. According to Rankin, he shot 100 frames in 4 minutes. But it was the 3 photos where the Queen was smiling that he said truly captured her spirit. He sent versions of the portrait to the palace. In one version, he put the Union Jack behind her. He soon received a note stating that Elizabeth liked the stitching on that one photo, which he said was the closest thing to her saying she liked. The photo went on to be displayed at Windsor Castle and the National Portrait Gallery.